Quarterfinal, joined by Ball State head coach Brady Sally, student athletes Allie Becky and Marie Kiefer. Start with an opening statement from coach, after which please put your hand up if you have a question for either of our student athletes, and hold your question for coach until after we dismiss them. Have you ready, sir?
Yeah, it's a heck of a way to start the tournament. I thought we came out ready to play. Maddie started out hitting shots, Alex hitting shots. I think, at that point we kind of just really dug our heels in, and I thought we executed defensively really well. They're a tough guard, when you got some bigs like we do, but we've got enough versatility that I thought we could do what we needed to do that way. So all in all, exactly what we wanted on day one. And, I asked them to fight for tomorrow, and everybody's got to deal with us tomorrow.
First student athlete.
Allie and Marie, you guys have been here for a while, for 4 years in Cleveland. What's it like knowing that, every game could be your last? Is that any added pressure or anything?
I feel like it is just a little bit, just because, it could be our last game, but we've been here for 4 years, so we know what it feels like. And the first game is always the most nerve-wracking one. Good to get that one out of the way, but just good win, and excited for the next game.
Yeah, I think it adds pressure, but I think since we've been here for so long, we're experienced and we know what we have to do and go out there and do it.
Alex, they started off the lead early, and then you guys went on that run that finished with your three. That play, one of your teammates misses their three, gets their own board, gets the assist out, you guys swing the ball. At that point, did you guys kind of feel that the game was going your way? Because it felt like at that point, that run kind of cemented everything.
Yeah, I mean, the effort that everyone gives on the court is amazing. And once we kind of got our run in, that's when it was just kind of foot to the gas pedal. And it's just like from there, it was hard to kind of stop us. And defensively, we were keyed in, and we made some adjustments during the third quarter. And after that, it was just over by then.
Allie, I talked to a Ball State band member before the game, and one of the reasons she said she's proud to be at BSU is because there's a female athlete that represents the campus as yourself. What does that mean to not only be viewed as an athlete, but something greater around Ball State?
Oh, I mean, that means a lot. Especially just like hearing that from the band. They do an amazing job. They come out here and they perform as well as we do. And so it's good to have support like that. And you guys too. Like, I saw you walk into the stadium today. I mean, it's just it's an all around team effort. And to be able to kind of hear everyone say I kind of made an impact. It means a lot to me, because after this, kind of basketball's almost over for me. So any way I can impact the game, but also the community or anything, means a lot to me.
Question for either of you. Sitting at this table right now, you've got MAC Player of the Year, MAC Defensive Player of the Year, and one of the staff of the year.
Good job.
But how much confidence does that kind of instill in your team? Not only are the one seed going into this tournament, but we've got the best of the best sitting in this room. How does that inject confidence into your squad going into moving forward in this tournament?
Honestly, for me, I feel like I'm so glad that stuff is over with. I feel like it kind of, for me, it added a little bit of pressure to myself, because everyone wants to have all these accolades and everything, and so I'm just I'm glad those things are out. Those things, obviously it means a lot to me. I'm super grateful and blessed to be named that, but it's just another thing to get out of the way and just focus on the thing we're here for.
Yeah, I'm really grateful. I think it does put a little bit of a target on our backs too, even though we've had one all year, but they definitely want to come after us more, which is really exciting, because then it creates a better game.
Previous player, you guys, the first two times you guys played this team, you played 61 and 55. Tonight you had 64 through three quarters. What was the difference today?
Yeah. We really moved the ball really well. We had a lot of assists in the first quarter and throughout the game. So I think knowing what they do after the last two times that we played them and working on that, practicing that, and just striving to do better each time is really what helped us today.
Yeah, and it helps that we make shots too, so that's always a plus.
And then for Allie, with how many seniors are on this roster, is there a different locker room mentality coming into this week than there has been in previous years?
No, I wouldn't say that. I mean, now it's my turn. Now it's our turn. So I mean, maybe a little bit, but I mean, every year we're here to play for each other. So there hasn't really been a difference, but maybe just a little bit more urgency this time because like it's our last go around. So yeah.
That's what we're hearing.
So I've seen a lot of celebrations and how you guys have played for each other all year long. What is it that you girls love about playing with each other this year? I mean, the year that you had has been terrific.
I think we've, especially like the core four and the seniors, we've all played the last 4 years together. Like we've won at this for the last 4 years. So just we know we need to get it done this year or else that's it. So we just go out there with everything.
Yeah, and we celebrate each other so well. I mean, our bench and like everyone else on the court, like we just the coach, like the whole staff, like we all celebrate each other's accomplishments, and it's just fun to be around, especially when you have people like that in your corner. Like it's hard not to go out there and like play your hardest, especially with them behind your back.
All right, we'll go ahead and dismiss our student athletes. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you guys.
Thank you, guys.
Questions for coach?
Marie just talked about the go around. Is that on your mind as well with these seniors and going to this tournament at all?
Yeah. I mean, I want it for them so daggone bad. But when the ball goes up, that all goes out the door. You're just trying to coach the next play and just trying to figure out a way to get a bucket. And, so yeah, in those lonely hotel hours, where you can't sleep, you're like, man, it's just, it's got to happen for these kids. And they've worked so daggone hard. And, like, the story he was talking about, I mean, it's who they've been to our university, we know we're good enough. We just got to go get it done. There's some comfort knowing that we've got all the boxes checked. But we want it awfully bad.
Coach, you talked about telling them you wanted them to fight for the
Mhm. Yeah.
This place, way you had to kind of prepare for the game, knowing it started at 11 a.m.
Yeah.
Instead of maybe a normal time for these girls.
Yeah. It's funny because they're like, Coach, this is perfect for you. Cause I'm a morning guy. And like, I mean, if I could play every game at like 10 a.m., it'd be just beautiful. Right. So we kind of go at this time quite often anyway. So it's not necessarily anything new. We've played, geez, I don't know, 3 or 4 games this year, with 11 o'clock tip offs. And so some of that was by design, anticipating coming up here and possibly having to do it. Some of it, was because, ESPN, you picked up a game and some stuff like that. So, we've used all those moments to really like learn from it. We talked about it. Hey, if you're the 1 seed, this one you're playing. And so, yeah, it's, maybe it's a little bit different, but man, you don't sit around all day going cuckoo. You just get up, lace them up and let's rock and roll. And so, that part of it we appreciate. But the kids are going to have to take care of their bodies. They're going to have to get in bed tonight. They're going to have to understand hydrating and doing all that because it is different. But can't let it be the story. Yep. I mean, sure. Yeah. Keeps my sanity in check. Again, we've operated at these times. It's the hardest thing, honestly, is when do we get them up and get them fed, without getting them up too early or feeding them too late, like trying to find that middle ground right there. So, they can have the energy in them to do what we need to do. But, again, it helps having veterans in these moments because they don't get out of focus with silly stuff. Oh my gosh, we got to play. And, sometimes young kids, like they lose their minds over stuff that doesn't matter. But, when you got 6 seniors and the amount of veteran leadership we have, it just is what it is.
of the same question I asked the girls, but how much fun are you having this season?
You know, I appreciate the question because me and fun, if you watch me coach, would not be words that you would put together, right? But I have made it a point to step back and get lost in this process and this journey with these kids because as long as I've been doing this, I just know that these groups don't come along every day, right? It's not like it just happens, right? Amen. Right. And I mean, I've had some really good ones and I've had some special ones. And I mean, I heard from so many of my former players when everybody gave me the old man pity votes for coach of the year. You know, and so like it's not even that, but it's just who these kids have been in their entire careers, what they've done at this university, how important they've made women's basketball at Ball State University, right? That's not easy to do all the time. And so, you know, I've just made it a point, you know, I've honestly, the most fun times I've had and the proudest moments I've had this year are when I've stepped back and I've seen a smile on Allie Becky's face that's real. And I've seen a smile on Marie Kiefer or Alex Richard, any of them, where they're genuinely enjoying it with each other. And I'm like, man, because I know that trophy that, you know, we won the other day, or hopefully the one we win here, it's going to sit in somebody's office and collect dust at some point. But those memories, man, like that's what this is about. And really, ultimately, that's what we're chasing.
Talk about being about that. I know in the last few years you guys have been here, the fan support has been great.
Mhm.
Great.
Yeah.
Have that support.
Well, again, it's, you know, it's what we're talking about. You know, I mean, you've got not just 14 players in this thing. You know, you've got your administrators, you've got your band, you've got your cheerleaders, you've got your fans. You know, a lot of family. It takes it all to have a program like we have, and we're really proud of our program, right? And we built this thing. I was saying it the other day when we were at home. I think the first game I coached at Ball State, I walked out in Worthen Arena and there were about 300 people there. Right. And now you walk out and I mean, it is on, right? I mean, we're playing in front of great crowds every night. And it's exciting. And again, it's been built, not just by me or a team, but it's been built. And we're awfully proud of that. And we don't take it for granted. We know that was a big part of today's game too.
Last one right there.
Coach, I was chatting with Sam and Dom pregame, and they said that where Sam said when they went down and talked to you, there was kind of just like had just like a state of calmness.
Mm-hmm.
I was just kind of curious, like in a huge situation in an environment like this, like where does that state of calmness come from? Is it the experience being here, or is it something else?
Well, I mean, my hairline will tell you I'm experienced. But no, I mean, these 3 days are about the kids. It's about the players, right? I mean, I'm going to help them and make some adjustments. I'm going to, you know, hopefully draw up a play that maybe gets us a bucket. But, you know, the most important thing I can do is just get the heck out of a really good team's way. You know, I think we feel like we have the best team. And so the last thing I want to do is overcoach that. So if I'm calm because of that, so be it. But it really is more about trust. And I just trust the heck out of these kids and they're ready. And again, we're looking forward to Friday. Yes, sir.
You guys had been rolling pretty much until you lost a challenge game.
Mhm. Mhm.
And you ended up having 2 losses in the conference and an overtime.
Yep.
What did you say to the gals to turn things around or get them back in focus or whatever?
Yeah, I don't know that I necessarily said anything, but it was a real important week in this team's growth. You know, up until then, we really hadn't lost a game that we weren't supposed to. You know, and I'm not talking about necessarily the James Madison game because I think they were favored, but then we came back and we lost at Toledo and then we lost to Kent at home. We weren't supposed to lose either one of those games. And so that was real adversity our kids had to face. right? And sometimes, maybe not even sometimes, all the time, adversity is the best teacher. And so, was it humility that we needed a little bit of? Was it just that punch to the gut that, hey, like, we can't jack around with this thing. We got to go. So I think the sense of urgency just dialed up a little bit. And we got away from honestly talking about technical things and just talking about fight and more importantly, who we were fighting for. Right. And when those kids look in that locker room at each other, there's no question who they're fighting for. And man, when you got a cause like that, it's easy to play as hard as we do and as well as we do. So that's what it kind of got to. And then it just built. And now I think, like I said, our headspace is really strong right now. Thank you. Thanks, guys. Appreciate y'all being here.